Wow, Olive, I don't know if you have time because this will be an event full of color, literally in every way, shape and form. There will be colors today to be presented to this 23rd Mechanized Infantry Brigade from the 8th Mechanized Infantry Battalion. Olive, I should not lose you because this is an interesting bit, and I know you can follow with Mary Wamboi's conversation there because she's been able to quite aptly articulate the significance of this ceremony. So before we go into the length and the breadth of this 59th Jamhuri Day celebrations, in which President William Ruto will be expected to preside over, and he has made it quite clear that this will be one that will be quite significant about technology and moving into the digital space. And this is how then the military again is now moving into the digital and the mechanized space in order to be able to fight the enemy at their level with the mechanized version of themselves. Remember in 1963 when Kenya was dropping the Union Jack and raising the green, the red, the black and the whites of the Kenyan flag, the Kenya Rifles was the then main unit of the Kenya Armed Forces at that moment. And when we're talking about the Kenya Rifles, these are the men in green. The gentleman in the red cap is from the Kenya Army's military police unit. However, there's much more to this celebration, Olive, because now the Kenyan military is moving away from the Kenya Rifles, which was using basically just the arms that they had. And when you talk about infantry brigade, the infantry brigade is based on boots, literally, on the ground, Olive. And these are the men and women who go into the forest, they go into the earth, they go into the savannah inside Somalia as they are under ATMIS, and they're already in the aircraft mission inside the Congo Eastern DRC area. These are the men and women who you will fight with on the ground. That was the Kenya Rifles then. Right now, they are moving into the Kenya Army Mechanized Infantry Brigade, which is now the 8th such a facility. This particular brigade will have the 23rd, the 25th and the 27th. The 23rd being the first one of such a mechanized. And when we speak of such, what does it mean really to be mechanized is because they will be using armored vehicles, light armored vehicles. And these are, for example, the APCs that you see, for example, the Kenya administration police using along the borderline in Mandera area. Those will be their mechanized infantry uses for when they go out into battle. So, Olive, this particular battalion, the first of the three, will now be given their colors. And what do you speak about when we say colors? These are specific flags that will be presented here to the Commander-in-Chief. This will be the first time. Remember, the 4th Commander-in-Chief was able to preside over 3 color such ceremonies for the 6th Kenya Rifles Battalion. That was for the 17th Battalion that is headed in Modica. They are called the Desert Rangers. The 19th Battalion is based in Nyali. The Ashes, their flag was grey. And the 21st Kenya Rifles Battalion, which was the last that he gave in Jamhuri Day 2021. And this was also the battalion that was given the ceremony during President William Ruto's inauguration. They gave President Uhuru Kenyatta his last salute, and also it was the first time that they were being honored and they were honoring the current president, the 5th Commander-in-Chief, William Samoei Arap Ruto. So today what we are going to expect, Kaleche, is a lot. There will be 2 flags that will be presented here on the grounds. The first one is the presidential color. This will be just similar to the Kenya national flag. It will have the coat of arms in the middle, and it will have the number 23 MIB inside. Just at the left top of that flag, this will be their presidential color. And then there will be now the unit color, which will be a bit brown or gray or maroonish. Also, it will bear the coat of arms of that particular unit. So those 2 flags, they will be prayed for by the chaplains of the Kenya Army, and also there will be a significant ceremony, and after that there will be a full parade that will do a lot of work here at the grounds in ceremony preparations for that significant ceremony. Olive, I don't know if I've lost you or if you are following this particular conversation on how exciting this ceremony will be going forward later this morning.
Lost me. And how often does this trooping of the color occur?
So trooping of the color is done in a particular ceremony. For example, in Jamhuri Day, this is when the Kenya Defense Forces come out to play, and they show you the best of their abilities in terms of honoring their commander-in-chief. Remember, Olive, this is a tradition based on the British colonial practice. Remember, Kenya was a British colony, and the King's African Rifles also trooped their colors for the Governor General here in Nairobi. But this was also a practice that was undertaken in Britain for the Queen then. Currently, we have the King Charles III, and Kenya has since separated from its colonial master. We are now celebrating 59 years of independence, and as much as we are moving on with our lives, we take a little bit of our history with us, and the Kenya Defense Forces has never missed to skip a bit in terms of reincarnating that piece of history, but of course adding bits and pieces of modern Kenya. You will hear them playing many African songs. Much of the ceremony will be religious songs, and they will be played by the full band of the Kenya Defense Forces. And this is just in honor of the service for the men and women in uniform for wherever they serve in this great republic along the borders, and of course in their missions across the East African region and across in the global sphere. As I said, now they're moving from just the Kenya Rifles and heading into a mechanized infantry brigade, the 8th such brigade that we have in the Kenya Army. Olive, the Kenya Army is the largest service of the Kenya Defense Forces, having 3 tri-services: the Kenya Army, the Kenya Navy, and the Kenya Air Force. And President Uhuru Kenyatta in his time was able to see through such trooping of the color ceremonies and handed out 4 colors for different Army and Navy units. And it's such a spectacular season and ceremony to undertake, Olive, because it's one in many such occurrences where the military joins the rest of the Kenyan public in such a union. One of the last ones where it was only at the barracks was when the Kenya Navy barracks Manda Bay was being inaugurated into a full barracks. That is when their 2nd Navy unit was given their color. It was white, just like the one in Mtongwe, but it's now the crown, and a bit different similarities from how their mother base in Mtongwe looks like. So, Olive, this is a ceremony where we are hoping to see if William Ruto will be going into the past and seeing how presidents who have attended such ceremonies come through, and also will he be adorning the Kenya Defense Forces uniforms? Will he not? But we've seen since the beginning of his service, he's been a man who has adorned his suit. But even in that, he will be able to undertake serious military honors here this particular morning. Olive, maybe you would like to know the difference between a battalion and a brigade. Do you know that?
No, I do not. But I would guess, my best guess would be it has something to do with the numbers.
Of course, a brigade is much larger. It's made up of several battalions. As I had mentioned, the 6th Kenya Rifles Brigade is joined by the 17th, the 19th, and the 21st. When I'm speaking about these numbers, you can tell that the battalions are in their odd numbers. This is because the brigades, on the other hand, are in even numbers. For example, we have the 2nd, the 4th, and the 6th brigades of the Kenya Rifles. Now, this is the 8th